Reaching the main temple at Batu Caves requires a direct, vertical ascent of 272 steep steps. At the base stands a 43-meter golden statue of Lord Murugan. This site is a major Hindu pilgrimage destination, built into limestone outcrops that are roughly 400 million years old. Entry to the main complex is free. Inside, the cave opens into a massive cathedral-like chamber where natural light illuminates several active shrines and detailed religious carvings. Because of its accessibility and scale, the site attracts more than 5,000 visitors every single day. Since the cave is a landmark destination, the question isn't whether you should visit, but how you handle the logistics. If you don't plan for the environment, the sheer volume of people can easily overshadow the site itself. Most visitors stay in Bukit Bintang, which sits about 15 kilometers south of the caves. To get there, you have to choose between 3 distinct transit methods, each with a different impact on your budget and your schedule. Once you arrive, you'll be contending with 3 external pressures: the intense midday heat, the peak tourist crowds, and the local macaques. Balancing your transit choice with a specific arrival time is the only way to experience the cave before these factors become overwhelming. For the lowest possible cost, you can take the KTM Komuter Train. This involves taking the monorail or MRT from Bukit Bintang to KL Sentral, then transferring to the dedicated Batu Caves line. The total fare is roughly 2 ringgit and 60 cent. However, you are trading time for that savings. The multi-leg journey adds at least 30 minutes of transfer time, and the trains can be crowded enough that seating isn't always available. You should also note that eating and drinking are strictly prohibited on all Malaysian rail services. The train is the best choice if you are prioritizing your budget over your energy levels. If you want to avoid transfers, book a direct grab car from your hotel lobby. A one-way trip typically takes 30 to 40 minutes in air-conditioned comfort and costs between 15 and 20 ringgit. The risk is the commute. If you leave between 7 and 9 in the morning, you will likely hit heavy traffic and surge pricing as the city moves toward the center. Grab is the most comfortable way to arrive, provided you time your departure to avoid the worst of the rush hour. The premium option is a guided half-day tour, which typically starts around $10 to $30. These tours include hotel pickup and a guide who explains the religious history of the shrines, often paired with stops at local batik factories. The trade-off is the cost and a rigid schedule. You won't have control over how long you spend at the site or when you leave. This is a logistical choice. You are paying for the guide's knowledge and a simplified transit experience. Even with the right transit, your arrival time is the most important factor of the day. This chart illustrates the environmental shift. At 6 a.m., heat and crowd levels are lowest. By 8 a.m., both metrics rise sharply. To stay in this manageable zone, leave by 6:15 a.m. to arrive by 7. Arriving at 7 a.m. means you can climb while the air is still cool, take photos of the stairs before the tour groups arrive, and finish your visit before the sun is overhead. Because commuter trains have lower frequencies that early in the morning, hitting this 7 a.m. window usually requires taking a grab. Arriving early fundamentally changes the experience, replacing the noise of large crowds with a much quieter, more respectful atmosphere. Once you are at the site, you must follow the strict Hindu dress code enforced at the entrance. Both men and women are required to cover their shoulders and knees with loose-fitting clothing. While these layers are necessary for entry, they will also increase your body temperature during the humid climb. Natural, breathable fabrics are your best option. You also need to be aware of the long-tailed macaque monkeys that live on the limestone cliffs. These animals are looking for food. If they see plastic bags, plastic water bottles, or loose items like sunglasses, they will try to snatch them. Avoid any direct interaction. A monkey bite requires an immediate medical check for rabies, which can quickly end your entire trip. Treat the dress code as a requirement for entry, and treat the monkeys as wildlife to be avoided, rather than photographed up close. This flowchart can help you decide which route fits your specific priorities. If you are an optimizer on a budget, take the earliest possible KTM train and keep your belongings in a single, secure backpack to avoid the monkeys. If you are traveling as a group, split a grab at 6:30 a.m. It's the most efficient way to get a family to the gates before the humidity becomes an issue. If you prioritize education, choose a private tour. You'll have to follow their schedule, but you'll get the cultural context that most solo visitors miss. Deciding on your profile early removes the stress of navigating transit once you're already on the ground. The view from the interior of the temple cave is an impressive sight, but the environment around it is challenging. It is a site that requires you to actively manage your time and your physical comfort. If you control the timing and the transit, you can focus on the caves themselves rather than the logistics of getting through the gate. The climb remains physically demanding, but with the right preparation, the cultural scale of the site is worth the effort.